Yeah, it's good. It's Markets have started to uh, open up, so you can imagine. Uh,
Okay,
I think
it's a good news.
yeah,
Right,
business
right.
have started doing good as well.
Okay, great, great. So pleasure to have you with us with Tech Jockey, and it's a webinar series with Grow with Experts,
Okay.
powered by techjockey.com.
Yep.
Okay. So, myself, Vishal Singler, and I'm actually heading the performance marketing here at Tech Jockey. So, I hope this should be a great interactive session with you, considering
Sure.
the like-minded people over the call. So,
Yeah.
can you brief about yourself, about your journey, about your experience in performance marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been almost over 14 years for me now
Okay.
in marketing, and uh, almost all of it has been in B2B marketing. So when I started, um, it was still mostly driven by, you used to have those marketing databases, and then
Right.
you used to run those campaigns. uh, the segmentation was quite preliminary, and then you used to do some targeted messaging to the audiences, right? So it was
Right.
a lot more of spray and pray approach, so to speak. And but what hasn't changed in the last 15-20 years is the continued focus on the kind of messaging that and the storyline that you need to have to
Right.
be able to make a connect uh, with your audiences, to make sure that you are helping them solve their problems, uh,
Okay.
reach, tackle the challenges, help them grow, make sure that the right kind of opportunities are being identified, right? So, and then, of course, with the advent of so many of the new technologies, right? So, while the content and the basic premise remain same, I think the channels have changed drastically, and so has been the way in which marketers have been able to are being able to measure efficacy of their programs, right? Thanks to the digital marketing, and how easily can you track the efficiency and effectiveness of your programs,
Right.
but at the same time uh, take it to a much more granular level, right? uh,
Right.
this has also led to a lot of expectations from both the CMOs as well as the marketing team to really show an ROI for all the investments that marketers get, right, and in a very short period of time. Yeah, so I think I have seen a lot of transition happening in the way marketers, both B2C and predominantly the B2B marketers, have
Right.
been taking their products and services to the market.
Right. Absolutely. So over the years, as you mentioned that, I mean, technology has actually changed. It's been more evolved with the time. So you think marketing has become more challenging with the time, or it's been, you can say the task is a bit easy with the more tracking and more tools in place. So as a marketer, what do you think? I mean, marketing for advertiser is more challenge now because of the higher competition, or it's been a little easy as compared to earlier when we don't have that much tools where we can get all the data at one place. Now marketing is an ecosystem, so you think it's a challenge or better as compared to a few years back?
Yeah, I think it has been both. On one hand, where you get access to be able to reach out to your clients and prospects, right, as easily as a click of a button, right? You
Right.
can send an email on LinkedIn, or you can do a specific paid targeting on any of the channels, right? So the access to your clients and prospects is actually making it easier for the marketers to be able to reach out to the end users, clients, and prospects, whatever you want to call them. But at the same time, this has also uh, created a bit of clutter, right? In terms of everybody is trying to say more or less the same thing.
Right.
How do you really differentiate? Uh, and how do you make sure that you are building a conversation with your clients at a more personalized level, right? So it has been, I mean, kind of double-edged sword, you know,
Right.
for the marketers. On one hand, it gives you better accessibility. On the other, uh, it's difficult to get mind share with your clients and prospects.
Right. And consumers over the time become more smarter now. So
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
tough to actually sell anything like in
Yeah.
the past. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So as you are with us, so I mean, with such a huge knowledge, we would like to utilize this time as much as possible. So we have few queries, few questions for you.
Sure.
So, so the I'll start with. I mean, do you really think the marketing it's a cost driven or a cost centric rather than a revenue centric? So, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I think it's it's a very pertinent question for both, not just the marketing but the sales folks as well.
Right.
And it really defines the way marketing is positioned within your organization, right? So, however, I think we should take a step back and try to understand the value that marketing creates for the organization, right? So, primarily there are three uh, ways or levers in which marketing is helping organization grow. One, by helping the business or the brand understand their customers better, and when I say understanding your customers, it is not limited to just their needs, pain points, and opportunity, but to really know what their expectations are, how their behavior is looking like, and how do you really connect with your audiences at a deeper level, right? So
Right.
that's one. Secondly, and this has been changing. This has changed quite a lot in the last 4 to 5 years. Is how do you engage with your customers, right? What are the channels? Uh, what should be the right time and pace at which you need to connect with your customers? And finally, to make sure that the products and services that you deliver to the customers are actually delivering the promise that the
Right.
brand has established in the beginning, right? So now coming back to this notion around whether it's a cost center or it's
Right.
revenue center for us, for the business. I
Mhm.
think, just like a new business needs to be nurtured with some kind of investment, right? So you need to find those right investments for your marketing as well. So
Right.
you need to see it as an investment. More and more, we are seeing that the decision making is happening prior to a consumer or a client is ready to speak to a client, right? So there is this notion of dark funnel, which is where marketers can really add a lot of value and contribute to be able to gain that mind share with the customers and with the consumers, right? So I think a lot of brands have already recognized that marketing is a strategic function. It will definitely help you grow, enter new market, improve on your profitability and all of that. You absolutely need investment in marketing to be able to deliver that promise. But at the same time, there are still quite a few number of organizations which really need to come out of this dilemma that marketing is a cost center.
Okay. Okay. So you mean it's a user centric, it's a customer centric. So we don't need to get
Absolutely,
into cost or revenue centric. Ultimately, it's a revenue centric in the
absolutely,
long
it's a
run.
center.
Okay. Okay. Agree. Agree. Fair enough. So, as digital marketing, as you said, and we all know that we can really measure the output, we can measure our efforts. So, being a performance marketer, and performance marketing is actually more output driven, more result driven. So, do you still believe, or what's your take on? I mean, as you said, a lot of organizations they still feel that it's a cost centric. So, how it's affecting overall digital marketing teams?
Yeah, that's a very interesting point you raised, Vishal. So I think Uh, you know, we are living in such a dynamic world, which is increasingly connected. Everything is available online, be it grocery, medicine, apparels, you name it. We are consuming services like banking, insurance, even healthcare. They are
Mhm.
delivered remotely. Uh, we
Right.
are we are consuming internet entertainment, on the go. So,
Right.
so in that sense, digital marketing can really help you be at forefront of the performance marketing. By building those connected and personalized engagement and conversations with the clients, right? So I think similar to the earlier point, the whole cost narrative is going to be a big deterrent to be able, and it's going to uh, stop your digital marketing initiatives to deliver real value for your brand and for your business, right? I mean, just
Right.
to give you an example, if you treat it like a cost center, so you'll be focusing more on the quantity rather than the quality.
Right.
You'll not be able to focus on those efficiency and efficacy metrics for your organizations. And I think at the same time, this is limiting your organization to realize its true potential. Uh, in case of B2B marketers, if you are doing a social media campaign and you are only doing it organically, so
Mhm.
you are limiting yourself, not being able to get in front of the right target audiences, people
Right.
who are your ideal customer profile, and things like that. So you
Right.
really need to put something, have the right kind of investment. In this case, having a paid advertisement campaign in place to really get those right kind of eyeballs, and make sure that digital marketing is taking you further and further, and helping you achieve your objectives.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Makes sense. So, also, do you think, I mean, there is a need to change the mindset from providing leads to generating a demand? So, what do you think over it? I mean, instead of we say that we are generating leads, we should focus on generating demand.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, very, very, very important and crucial point you have raised. And this is something which is like a bread and butter for the B2B marketers.
Right.
So I think there are two predominant narratives here. One is the nature of engagement and conversation that we want to establish with our clients and prospects, right? Do we only want to understand their current needs, or we want to make sure that we also understand what they haven't realized till now, make a roadmap for their future needs, right? So that's one. And second is in terms of helping them all along their buying journey, right? Not just at the top of the funnel where you simply do some hand holding and then pass on the baton to your product and your business development team, right? So I think this is what fundamentally differentiates lead and demand generation, right? So when you look at demand generation, it is quite end to end, all encompassing, in the sense you start at the point when you are helping uh, your clients and prospects with building the kind of awareness and interest, helping them understand that where industry is heading, what are the imperatives, what are the things that they need to look at to be really able to uh, gain competitive advantage in their industry. Then you nurture those conversations, make sure that uh, you are helping them further fine tune these trends with the specific requirements that you have, right? So I think that's when we start talking about uh, some point of view papers, white papers, or product specific documentation, right? And then towards the end, you really you help them uh, get on board with demos, some of the success stories that you have done in the past, and things like that. But you really don't stop there. you take it a step further where you get back to them after uh, they have used your product or service. You try to understand how well that the product fared in terms of their expectations, and you really make sure that they become your loyal customers and even advocates, right? So I think
Correct.
demand generation is the way to go for marketers.
Okay, great. So I think it was very very explanative. So great. So do you think consumers are these days more comfortable with do-it-yourself model as there is a lot of information available over the net?
Yeah.
So where they actually expect very little human intervention. So what's your take on this? I mean, or you can, I mean, elaborate or give some examples to actually in support of this statement. I mean, they are more comfortable with do-it-yourself model or not?
Yeah. So again, I mean, the consumer behavior is changing rapidly, right? And especially the way they interact with brands, with their communities, with other people online, right? So today they are very fickle. They are very demanding. They are ready to switch the brand at the click of the button. So I
Right.
think with that kind of expectations that the customers have, and it's not limited to that. They are searching for products and services online. They are reading reviews, writing reviews. They are making sure that they join the right community, and they are talking to the right people, right? So all of that is actually giving a lot of power back to the consumers, right? And but there is a way that brands can really influence some of those conversations to really understand what are the behavioral characteristics of the people, and what is it that they are actually looking to find. To give you an example of how do you buy a car today, right? So you already
Right.
have in your mind whether you want to buy an SUV, sedan, and so on and so forth. What is it that you're looking from a power, from a convenience perspective, right? So there is a lot of background research that the consumers are doing even
Mhm.
before they are ready to talk to a sales guy, or they are willing to go to a showroom, book a test drive, and really look for some special pricing, at that point. So I think a lot of power has shifted from brands to the consumers, uh, and at the same time brands are trying to identify new way of interacting with the customers, making sure that they start the right conversation. They go on establishing a relationship with the consumers and the customers, and then move on to the sales stage. Yeah, so I think there is a fundamental shift that has happened in this aspect.
Right. Right. And consumer behavior is something which is, I think, most unpredictable. I mean,
Absolutely.
the same consumer can behave differently in different times with the same product. So
Yeah,
it's very
absolutely. Yes. I
right.
mean, the earlier times, sales guy used to only focus on, say, someone who is maybe 40 plus, has a six-figure salary,
Right.
and has very specific way of living, and then they used to go after those people. But I think
Right.
things are changing so quickly that you really need to understand your consumers better, what they are looking in the product that they want to buy, to
Right.
be able to really differentiate your brand. Otherwise it's everybody's trying to say the same thing.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's very important to understand how actually consumer behaves,
Yeah.
and yes, yes. So, I mean, sometimes we are not really aware about our audience. Let's say we have been running our ad campaigns over some of the paid platforms, and we are not really aware of our audience. So sometimes we have to actually make efforts, but we are not very sure. I mean, how fruitful actually these efforts are going to be in future. So can you share some things, your insights, your inputs over in support of the customer acquisition and revenue generation? I mean, how marketers should go about it when they are not very sure about the audience or about the efforts of the platforms or the algorithm of few of the paid platforms. So how should a marketer go about it?
Yeah, it's honestly, that reminds me of a very famous quote from John Von Maker, when he said that half of the money that I spend on marketing is wasted. The trouble is I don't know which half. So
Okay.
traditionally, advertising has been uh, is more of a way of providing air cover to your sales and to your business development folks. To be
Right.
really able to establish your brand in the market, to make sure that there is a higher recall and acceptance of your brand and things like that. Uh, However, at the same time, there are there are a lot of things which becomes really difficult to measure if you go too much granular, right? So you need to limit yourself, that you measure the efficacy of a campaign and not look at individual assets or individual activities, to be able to understand that how it is driving revenue or growth or pipeline or things like that. So I think there are a
Mhm.
lot of you need to make a clear demarcation between how you are going to measure the tangible benefits, which is what can be directly measured from your digital advertising, and things like that. But there are a few others which are more brand specific, which are related to uh, creating a brand awareness in the market and making sure that you have a strong brand and things like that. How it's going to help is obviously people who have a strong brand are able to create a lingering, positive impression in the mind of the audiences, and you get a significant influence in getting shortlisted, and higher consideration in the buying process. Uh, if you are a salesperson, customers are more likely to return a call if you tell them that you are from a specific brand. So all of that needs to be there, and there are ways to measure it, like your net promoter score, your customer satisfaction index, and some of those metrics,
Mhm.
which are more relative and qualitative, uh, which are absolutely important. And on the other side of the spectrum are those specific campaigns which really help you. What is your cost per lead? How much of the revenue you generated out of a specific campaign? So I think both the ends of the spectrum are important, and we need to find a balance and make sure the right kind of impetus is behind both of them.
Okay. Right. Okay, so I mean, you have such a huge experience in performance marketing, and you also mentioned earlier that consumer behavior is something that we all need to, being a marketers, we all need to understand.
Yeah.
So, based over that and based over your expertise, what do you think is the ideal marketing funnel? As this is very important to understand exactly where the consumer is in your marketing funnel during its buying journey. So, what
Yeah.
is the ideal marketing funnel specifically in B2B software space?
Yeah, absolutely. I think let me start with the traditional funnel, which we used to define with your AIDA, so the awareness, interest, desire, and act. Or very recently, people have actually expanded it to your 5 A's. So aware, appeal, act, ask, act, and advocate. So I
Okay.
think that's how the traditional B2B marketing funnel has looked like, and it hasn't changed in the last 10 years or so. Now there are few what I like to call them, guiding principles, which can actually help you to engage with your customers and clients in a more structured and method, with having a method to the mind, to the madness, in that approach. So first and foremost, most of us know that the the buying cycle or the sales cycle for B2B is quite long, anywhere from 6 months to an year and a half, and even more if you're looking for strategic deals, right? So you
Right.
need to make sure that the campaigns that you run are always on. You want to make sure that you are reaching out to the right contacts with the right clients and prospects multiple times over a period of time, while
Mm.
making sure that you are not over bombarding them with the same messages and again. So you need to
Right.
find a balance between the right set of messages and what kind of content you need to share when someone is at the top, middle, and bottom of the funnel. So you really need to map your content based on the funnel stage. Secondly, if you look at especially B2B and the software sales, so I mean, the buying committees consist of anywhere from 6 to 10 people, right? Who may be the the decision makers, influencers, and even your gatekeepers. So you need to
Right.
engage with all of them with the right information which they are looking at. So a gatekeeper may be more interested in knowing the product features. Influencer may be looking at how it's going to help them uh, grow in the next 3 years. What is the ROI and things like that. And the decision maker may be more interested only from the investment perspective. So what is my current budget? Is this the right solution? And things like that. So you need to find a way to engage with all of these personas in a different fashion, right? So I think
Right.
that's what uh, differentiates you from others who may be taking a more direct approach, reaching out directly with a sales pitch and all of that, and to be able to differentiate with your customers, right? And the last point which I would want to add is the notion of inverted funnel, which is what a lot of account-based marketing practices have actually introduced. So you
Right.
actually start with a small number of clients, say 8 to 10 clients, and maybe you have two contacts to reach out to begin with, right? And as you go, you start reaching out to more and more people in the same uh, companies, right? So in a way, your funnel is inverted on its head, and you
Right.
are actually making your marketing more effective by reaching out to more number of people at the client's end. But at the same time, you also make sure that you are trying to connect with the influencers, the analyst and the advisor community, making sure that they also work as your advocates when it comes to uh, starting that conversation with the client. So inverted funnel is actually quite effective and picking up more and more in B2B.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay. So, do you think, I mean, sales and marketing teams have to be in sync? I mean, to deliver the desired set of results, especially in specifically in B2B space, in software space.
It's an ongoing challenge, and sometimes a battle between the sales. I mean, how do you marry sales and marketing together? Marketing traditionally has been focusing on those uh, which the sales team calls vanity metrics, right? So
Right.
how what is your potential reach, what is the click through rate, impressions, conversions, and things like that, right? Whereas sales is only focused on how many business conversations I had in the last week,
Right.
how many opportunities we got, pipeline conversion, and all of that. So I think in all this um, setup and environment, somewhere they need to find shared goals and objectives, and to be able to define end-to-end metrics, right? So where they are finding a synergy between a marketing campaign, and then once they are qualified as by the marketing team, sales is taking them forward. They are sharing feedback to the marketing that, hey, this is this way of having your marketing qualified leads is not going to work. Do we need to do something about scoring? Do you need to have more number of contacts and conversions, conversations before you transfer a lead to us, right? So
Right.
all of this is happening in parallel. So I think there needs to be some kind of intelligence that marketing needs to add to any opportunity or any lead they share to the sales team. But at the same time, sales I mean, they have their ears very close to the ground, right? When understanding the opportunity around. So they need to share the feedback uh, to the marketing folks and really come together to define a way of nurturing and closing the leads, right? And I think at the same time, where technology is helping them come together is with all the automation tools which are happening, right? So whenever a contact or an opportunity in the marketing database reaches a threshold in terms of the engagement, suppose he has downloaded your white paper, he has
Mhm.
also looked at your pricing sheet, and he has attended your webinar, right? So there is, you need to have a bit of automation in place, that there is a trigger that goes to the sales personnel that this is the guy you need to talk to the next
Right.
week. Because I mean, the top of the funnel is always heavy, right? You have so many contacts, and you really can't do that kind of personalization that you would want manually. So the all the automation tools that are coming in, and even the artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms are helping marketers really qualify those opportunities very quickly, at almost real time, and helping their sales colleagues with the right insights, so that they can kickstart the conversation. So I'm absolutely want sales and marketing teams to really work together.
Right. I mean, there is no other alternative. They have to be in
Not
sync.
at all. They have to be absolutely.
Right. Right. So, and what are the major marketing channels that you have been using or that have been helping you in driving inbound demand digitally?
Yeah, I think that's that ties very well together to what Vishal you mentioned in the other points. One was the changing consumer behavior, or even the client behavior, where they are more empowered. They want to do it on their own. They want to do a lot of research. And second, in terms of the whole notion around dark funnel, right, where they are not talking to the salespeople until they are ready on the channel they want at the time they are ready, right? So all
Mhm.
of this creates, I mean, a lot of significance for inbound marketing, right, where you really give your end users and your audience to a channel where they can really explore what your company or your brand has to offer. So one of the ways, and one of the very crucial ways of doing that is obviously your content marketing. And more brands are moving towards thought leadership assets, be it blogs, white papers, point of view papers, right? Uh, and really helping them answer the questions and the pain points which they feel that consumers are going to search online, right? So inbound marketing is going to be more and more important as consumers, as the power shift to consumers, and as the users want to do it on their own, right? And I think
Right.
that is the case for few other channels like SEO and even search engine marketing, right? Where uh, you allow your audiences and your customers to really explore uh, what all is available in the market, to where they can look for solving their challenges and pain points. Yeah.
Right. Right. Absolutely. That makes sense. So, I mean, these days, I mean, all the efforts, all the efforts are directed towards the growth,
Yeah.
and marketing is no different. And especially performance marketing, it's a result driven. So, can you share an example where these are, I mean, marketing effort is directly related to your growth in revenue? I mean, there
Yep.
is that correlation between these two metrics.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you recall at the beginning, you started on a very positive note, right? That we need to make sure that marketers are branded as the cost, not as the cost center, but as the revenue center, right? And
Right.
I think that is, and thankfully, there is a lot of technology out there which is helping us drive those sales specific metrics, right? Be it the pipeline, your growth target, your customer loyalty and advocacy, and all of that. So one of the areas which I spoke earlier has been, the account based marketing, right? Which actually covers a lot of activities uh, around your account and contact selection, your insights creation, personalization, programmatic advertising, and to be able to really orchestrate those multi-channel campaigns, right? So if you look at any ABM campaign, you can really find a direct correlation between your campaign and the activities and the investment that you have done with the revenue and the pipeline creation, right? So that's one area.
Mhm.
Second, and this has been quite recent, has been around those intent-based marketing campaigns. And this has been there for with the B2C marketers for quite some time. Where they put you in one of those 20 or 30 characteristic types, right? Whether you are outgoing and you are in exploratory mode and you will like such kind of B2C products, or you are more introvert and you're focusing on these things are going to matter to you, to more and more to you, right? I think similar B2B marketers have taken a leaf out of the B2C marketers, and they're really trying to understand the personas of the business buyers, right? And it's not stopping there. They're also trying to understand what is the current intent that a company has. Is he ready to buy a particular software? Is he willing to invest in, say, cloud solutions, customer experience, enhancing their customer experience, a portfolio, making sure that the cybersecurity is up to the mark? Is it looking more at the sustainability goals and things like that, right? So once you understand, and there are very niche marketing organizations coming up across the globe, in India, North America, Europe, which actually help you understand that intent, those firmographics, and not just the demographics which used to look earlier. And that is actually helping marketers to uh, you know uh, create a difference in terms of the efficacy and efficiency, right? Once you understand your customers better, you understand their needs, when they are ready to buy, where they're looking to invest, where they are looking to grow. I think all that insights are going to help you package the right proposition to your clients, right? Obviously you can't change what you are
Right.
selling, but you can really customize it, configure it, and make it more and more relevant to your client. And I think that is going to be a key differentiating factor for B2B brands going forward.
Okay. Great. Great, Shalabh. I mean, being into a B2B business, I mean, tech jockey being into B2B, so it was, I mean,
Yeah,
great interactive session with you. And I also took few of the learnings from this. It's been a great, very insightful session with you. And really glad to have you with Tech Jockey. So,
I'm really happy for giving me the opportunity to have a great conversation with you. And again, thanks
right,
for having me.
same. The pleasure is all ours. So, thank you. Thanks for connecting. And hopefully, we'll set up another meeting soon.
Okay, thank you.